There's Bluebird on your shoulder. We're back, and it's all three of us. Look, it's very exciting. Everybody made it, so we didn't fall asleep. Um, it's cute. We're gonna fall asleep. That's fine too. Pretty interesting. Typically interesting 7 days between episodes. Actually, I think it's only 6 days between episodes this time.
Yep.
So I think it's really interesting. So I'm gonna kick it off here. Megas always kind of shit on presidential libraries, right? So like that's definitely a thing. Like I get it. Like MAGA and libraries don't typically go together, right? So it makes a lot of sense to me. But DeSantis offered Trump some premier land in Miami for his presidential library. Um, so I'm just not 100% sure exactly what. I guess is he prepping to run? Is that what he's doing? Is he pre-upping, trying to like slide in past Vance for the 28 or like I don't know. He really isn't a huge fan, right? So
Well, he's as much of a fan as anybody else is, as long as it's expedient to
Yeah.
their own career.
Yeah, because he was the closest to winning after Trump last time for that party. So, I mean, it would
Right.
make sense for him to run again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
honestly, I
I
think
think he would win over Vance anyways, and I don't think it would be close.
I do too. I think that if I think that they need to put a whole bunch of people in the field early in order to be able to um, keep the excitement going surrounding that party, because in 3 years, freaking, we're gonna start seeing a lot of what's going on right now come to fruit, and so they're not gonna be very popular.
Yeah.
that's super true. That's super true. They probably won't be very popular. So that'll be really exciting to see how that plays out. I definitely could see DeSantis gearing up again. I don't think you'll have the giant clown car this time around in the Republican.
No, I
Uh,
think that they'll probably have four or five
yeah,
decent runners,
I think if
and
they
then
were
they'll
smart and
consolidate.
their strategists do what they do when they can see things coming is they put up the strongest card that they can to try to keep us out, because I think they know what's going on and how severed they have become over the last few weeks, that if they don't win, they might not get it back for a while.
Oh, I'm sure that that's going to be galvanizing for them, just like it should be galvanizing for the left.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few people that I think are worthy, and I think a lot of people that it's kind of more hopeful than reality, and one of them that I absolutely would not vote for unless I absolutely had to, like if it was Hillary again, which is AOC. I would not vote for her unless I absolutely had to.
Why?
I think she's a nut job. I think she's batshit crazy, bro.
Mm,
AOC.
Yeah, I don't like her.
There's like four or five people on the left I could accept that about, but she is definitely. It's really weird that you brought her up though, because I
yeah,
definitely led with the Republican nominees to pivot to AOC is exploring.
28, yeah.
So a lot of people are just automatic. She's exploring the presidential, and that's not what her.
no, no, she's
No,
going to go for the
a
Senate seat first.
Senate or presidential. They're looking at both
She could
being
get pulled up to a
possibilities.
vice.
Right.
So, but
And
I don't think
looking
she'll
at
go
both to
for.
be a possibility, but I do think
Yeah,
it'll end up being a Senate seat she goes after.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
Um,
haven't seen that about the Senate. All I saw was that they were putting out feelers to gear her up and prep her for 28.
That's just some rhetoric. She knows that she has some work to do, and she needs to get better at the larger aspects of running an office. She's really good at working the crowds. She's really good at fundraising. She's really good at sitting on committees and speaking to what the left's platform needs to be, but she does still have some work as far as growing um her circle so that she's got competent people that are working with her so
That's
that she
fair.
can write bills and things like that.
I really want Booker.
I like Corey. I've liked Corey for a long time, actually. Um, but I think
I think
I
Booker
don't know.
Newsom. I think Booker Newsom either way is a winning ticket.
I do. I feel that way as well. I don't know.
I just don't know. Is this
Gavin was hitting really hard for a minute there, but I don't feel like he's coming out with anything substantive to back it up.
Yeah, he
like
was really hot there for a couple weeks for sure.
Yeah, he got the limelight shown on him, but then he didn't back it up with anything other than what his job is right now, which is California.
Right.
So the problem is that he needed to take a national stage at that point when he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
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 I don't.
When as far as Corey goes, I just don't. Unfortunately, because of what Trump and MAGA have done, as far as not being a rich white male, I think that that's going to be too soon. You know what I mean? Like Obama hit at the right time.
Right.
And then
I thought
that after that maybe Hillary, when she ran, like maybe.
Yeah.
But then obviously we weren't. And I honestly don't know if that will ever happen.
What, a woman or?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it will happen. I mean, you gotta stop looking at America as the trendsetter. We're the freaking angsty teenager on the block. Look at all of the European Union, and they've all got female prime ministers and presidents. So,
yeah, I just don't see it happening in our lifetime, and that might be because we're getting fucking old. But but also like what I just said, like what the damage that he has done is the far as the way that it's portrayed. And I'm not going to say how we see it because at least the three of us don't see it that way. You know what I mean? Like, but the perception that a lot of America has is that's not going to be a woman's job. That's not going to be a minority's job.
I think that, I mean, if our worst fears were to come true with Trump the next 3 years, I think I think if he were to try to stand up and run a third term, I think that a woman could easily take him down.
I don't think he will, for the simple fact that what's her name, Barrett Comey.
Said that it's pretty.
Amy, thank you. Yes, said that it's pretty cut and dry, like
pretty cut and dry.
Like you will not.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that he's not going to try to, do a bait and switch or something like that. So, like, what about him being vice president?
Right? Yeah.
Using Vance as a puppet.
Can't do that either.
Yes, you can.
It is not. There was legal question brought up, and there was never a definitive precedent that was used to say yes or no to it. It was brought up when he was running,
because then he wouldn't be elected president. He would be essentially appointed if they were to step down or something happened to them.
No, technically the vice president is elected. So they are elected together. It is
correct.
Not, one or the other.
Right, but he's not elected
they run
to
together.
that position. Which is why they're saying that you could, or that they're saying that it doesn't say that you can, but it doesn't say that you can't. And you already know we're going over that one.
So well, I mean, that one's a toughie because depending on the legal arguments that are made, I've read a couple things on it, and they said probably not, but that it's not set in stone. So with a tweak to the Constitution, anything can happen.
Sure. I wouldn't be
God
surprised.
knows
I wouldn't
the
be
Supreme
surprised
Court
if
is giving
Junior
it to
tries to
him.
run.
Who's that?
I wouldn't be surprised if Junior tries to run.
I think that they would already have him out front and center if they were trying to groom him for that, though.
You would think.
I mean, they have some smart marketers, that's for damn sure.
Yeah,
So,
and I could be like completely wrong on that one too, because he's gonna run off of Daddy's name and the MAGA movement that is seemingly, I guess, fizzling out. Kind of. I mean, they're at least severed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean there's some cognitive dissonance that are giving a lot of people pause. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the left did the right thing and they got real quiet when Charlie Kirk's memorial happened, because that hornet's nest was starting to galvanize everybody into us versus them again. So I think that the left needed to take a step down and take a breather and shut the fuck up for a minute, so that people could calm down and realize that just because we don't like Nazis doesn't mean that we want somebody to get murdered.
God, see, that's the unfortunate part, bro. There's a lot of people who are totally okay with it, and that's just a wild concept, and it's more damaging than helpful across the board. We're gonna touch on Tyler later a little bit because he's an interesting fucking character.
Who's Tyler?
That's the guy who shot him.
Oh, Robinson. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson. So, but I gotta go back to this. Why the fuck do you not like AMC?
I know, right?
I can't.
What do you have against my future wife?
I don't know. You could say that now too.
I think just for me personally, some of the stuff that she said just seems
be specific,
too far left for me.
Like what?
Okay. She's ultra progressive. I think she's tampered down a lot over the last 6 years.
I was gonna say, like, exactly what? Because she's been out on the campaign trail and she's supporting
corporate Dem.
Huh?
She's pretty corporate Dem now.
No, she still hasn't taken any PAC money.
Well, yeah, but her talking, like, somebody sat her down and was like, if you want a future, this isn't going to work, and they're not wrong. So
yeah, I mean, I guess
it's you change the game by the rules, right? So if you gave her, like, she does a really good job illustrating Democratic platform in the House. Like, she does a really, really, really good job of that. She speaks well. She's educated. She comes from not poor roots, but not wealthy
humble
roots
beginnings,
either, right?
Yeah.
Her parents moved so she could go to a better school district as a kid, which is pretty common in America. Like,
that's what the suburbs are all about,
right? Yeah. She definitely went and got an education, and I mean, she worked in the service industry, so we know she has some people skills. I don't know what there is to not like. You could say she's a little too progressive, but I think compared to actual too progressive, she's not.
Yeah.
She may not be now. I guess I haven't paid too much attention to her for probably like the last 2 years because I was just all the way out on her. One of my biggest things was because of her idea, like the Green Deal, and she could never even come close to answering a question as to how that was going to get funded.
Not because you can't answer how it's going to get funded because you don't know how you have to navigate the corporate money to do that. Like, that's an unanswerable question, not because they don't have an answer, but because the businesses required don't have an answer.
Right. There's no they hadn't decided on whether it was going to be a tax, if it was going to be credits, that none of that, all of that was going to have to go through committee and get hammered out as a tax and or a regulation. And so there
Well,
was still a lot of work that needed to happen there. The thing that a lot of people thought was that the Green New Deal was a was policy. All it was a pledge for us to work on those things. So, that was the thing, is that if you can't get the corporate PACs and the corporatists to come to the table and offer up a solution that can work for everybody, then you're basically going to be coming up against the most powerful lobbyists in the world when it
right.
comes to energy.
No,
So
for sure. Yeah, so out of the squad, I think she's the least progressive. Doesn't mean she's not progressive. I'm just curious, dude, because she's somebody I actually like a lot.
yeah.
I liked her long before they hated her, but them hating her makes me like her even more.
Sure.
So because they just say asinine things about her that aren't
hmm
true.
Yeah.
Um,
You should
so
look up AOC on not having health care or not having health insurance. She gave a speech, and she talks about how she understands the anxiety and the amount of pressure that goes on with that stuff, because at one point in time she was in to see a doctor and they wanted to run tests, and she didn't have health insurance, and she didn't have a lot of money, so she just started bawling right there. And they,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so like, her humanity drives her policy and her position, which is respectable no matter who you are.
yeah, I like I said, not president yet, but I could support
Yeah,
her to take the Senate seat in New York. That'd be
yeah.
fine. But yeah, so we'll move to Trumpy Dumpy went to England. And I I know that King Charles, who not a lot of people are super fond of. I'm not real into the royal. I liked Princess Diana. You know what I'm saying? Like
Who
she's
didn't?
my like. I mean,
Who didn't?
facts. Obviously somebody.
Well, yeah.
Um. So, namely the royals. But except for the Queen actually did like her. But the old lady's very into that. Like the royal, she understands it all. She talks about it all, and she like hates Charles, right, for varying reasons. But I know one of the clips I saw was Charles like talking directly to Trump, and then saying that we will support Ukraine as allies, like we will do this, and it was like Trump didn't know what to do. It was pretty interesting. But my big takeaway is there was like a formal dinner at some bougie fucking royal something or another. And like the press secretary didn't have a bra on. She was wearing like this form-fitting dress, and she now looks like a MAGA crony from Mar-Lago, and she's got all like the shots and the plumps and the fakie. So like she was nipping it. Fucking Stephen Miller's tuxedo shirt didn't fit him. It's like somebody shrunk it in the wash, and his
Yeah.
tail, like you could see the lower half of his belly just below the belly button, like because his tails wouldn't tuck into his pants. It was like the Beverly fucking Hillbillies went to the UK. And like what are you doing? Like I would not want to do any form of pomps and circumstance like that, right?
Mm.
I wouldn't. However, if I did, I would do it correctly.
Right.
Like I would probably be miserable and hate myself the whole time, but I would do it correctly. But I just wanted to put that out there that they reaffirmed the US UK special relationship, which is so unbelievably strained.
hmm
And it
Did you
pivots
did you
in.
guys see that protesters projected a picture of Epstein with Trump on the castle that they were
Yeah, where him
Yeah,
and
having the
Melania were
banquet at?
staying. Yes, yeah.
that was super cute. So yeah, that really happened. There was a lot of protests there. There was a dual protest during that time. Like they
Yeah.
had an anti-immigration protest and they were protesting him. It was wild. There's people
Yeah.
everywhere. And then I know that speaking of the UK, China, they sold land to China back in 2018 for like 225 million pounds or something like that. And they're going to put the largest embassy
I did see that. Yeah.
in Europe or in the world, I don't know which. It's definitely in Europe, in London. And China and the UK don't really get along, and I guess it's like sitting over the top of like really sensitive telecommunication lines. And
Hmm.
it's in the their like market district, like their financial market. It's their
Sounds like
Wall
it's
Street area.
strategically placed.
Yeah, very strategically placed for the Chinese. And then the UK was like, well, we need building plans. And China gave them some redacted fucking plan. And then told them it was for security purposes. China is walling out. So because they have all the power right now, but
Yeah.
it's just interesting that he went there and they all look like the Beverly fucking Hillbillies.
Yeah.
And I just like Jesus Christ, like it's bad enough. Like you don't have to look like your supporter people, like your base, right? So, but yeah, we had a guilty verdict in the 2024 Florida golf course Ryan Ralph assassination, and then I guess he tried to off
Stab
himself.
himself. Yeah.
He tried to off himself afterwards because he's going to go to prison for attempted
Ever.
for well, you can't shoot people. That's a thing. So and then pivoting to Tyler, I said we bring him up again, Mr. Robinson. So I've read a few reports. Try to avoid it for the most part right now, but they're finding extreme right and extreme left rhetoric all over the place with him.
Yeah.
And I saw something that made a lot of sense to me. They said he's a meme lord, and that's really what he is, which are like these fucking degenerate fuckwads in like the deepest hells of Reddit. And they're wild as shit. And I eventually, like, occasionally my algorithm like feeds me some of it, and they don't have any ideology. It's just
So
pure
they're
truth.
just they're anarchists.
In a
I
way, yeah.
wouldn't even qualify him as that, but sure, that's about as close as you're going to get to a reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
It's like the QAnon for Gen Z.
Well, I mean,
So
except that they're not trying to push an ideology. They're just trying to garner attention while sowing chaos.
yeah, but they just believe in the most extreme ideology, whatever the most extreme ideology is available that you can make a meme about.
Yeah.
And that explains like why he wrote what he wrote on his bullets. It wasn't a left
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's a fucking lunatic thing, which
Right.
obviously he was a
Right.
lunatic. And it's like all over the place, and then super far right stuff, which is how he grew up, and that
Right.
it's like it's just like nobody has anything to say anymore. Like, because it didn't prescribe to his manifesto of I voted for Biden. Like, it didn't, you know what I'm saying? No, he was a fucking Looney Tune. However, I did find it admirable and odd that his wife, Charlie's wife, at the funeral or the memorial, whatever that actually was in
Memorial
Arizona,
Called
um,
for forgiveness.
looked like a
no,
MAGA rally.
she said she forgave him. She didn't
Yeah.
ask others to forgive him. She said that Jesus, Christianity demands we forgive, and therefore I forgive. And I actually kind of respect that because there's a lot of fake Christian on the
Yeah.
MAGA right. And people after her, like Trump, came up and was like, well, she forgives him, but I don't because I fucking hate
I,
those people.
yeah, and he
Yeah,
and
he
he
flat
didn't
out said
say
he
he
hates his
didn't say
opponents
him. He
and wishes
said
the worst
them.
for them.
Yeah.
He wants to hunt the left. Like
Yes.
he's using
Oh,
this as a rally cry to hunt.
Oh, it absolutely was.
yeah. But I
So
just thought
It
it
was
was
more so
really,
that than a memorial. I mean, if
yeah.
you
oh
look at
yeah.
all the people that spoke there wasn't many of his family or anything like that. It was his wife and then Trump and
Oh yeah,
all
it was a
MAGA.
political rally. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, 100% was.
So
The stage even looked
and
like it.
I
yeah.
think for some people it was. I don't necessarily think for her it was,
Sure.
but
Oh
there
yeah,
are
well
people floating. There
she's
are
gonna ride
people.
that wave because she's gonna sell all kinds of merch. You
Well,
Well,
know,
she became a CEO.
she's assumed Charlie's position basically
she
for Turning
also
Point
has
USA.
a
Yeah.
merch business where she sells Christian apparel.
Yeah.
That was her job. That's what she did out of college. So
That's super fair. I just think it was kind of cool to see like somebody actually follow the mantra correctly, and
yeah,
then be
yeah,
on
Yeah.
Twitter
yeah.
after that watching the base. Absolutely be like, I can't believe she did that. I can never do that. Blah 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 blah. And then
They need to
Dropping
read the book.
humanity in the
why would
bucket.
you want to do the thing that she did? Why would you want to do the thing that's what he would have done?
Right,
Like
right.
you can say a lot about him, right, left, or middle, right? But he would have not wanted what you're doing,
Mhm.
like the doxing, not doxing, what are they, cancel culturing, the jobs, right? Which cool, whatever. Fair is fair to me. I thought it was stupid when the left did it, and I think it's stupid when the right did it. I think it's hypocritical when the right does it, as well as being stupid. But I thought it
Well,
was
Right.
stupid when the left did it too.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
just like we said last week, like the paradigm has shifted, because they were all whining about the cancel culture. Now they are the cancel culture.
Yeah, well, it's the people in power that
Sure.
are the danger of canceling. Um, the okay, so there's a lot there. All right, so there were plenty of things that Charlie said on his podcast, over the years where he did want to um hold people accountable, that he did want them to come to harm, even though he espoused Christian values. He did so just like most Christian nationalists do, where it's a mantra for them to repeat and a banner for them to hold up, but it's not something that they truly live. He did a better job of cloaking than most, where he did try to say that he followed Christ and God bless you and things like that. But if you look at a lot of the things that he said over the years, there was definitely some things that he said that were just as crass as Trump.
Well, sure. I mean, in one interview, he called a guy a chink. So
Well, I mean beyond that, like he espoused, um, things bad. He wanted the bad things to happen to immigrants, things like that. So, like, you know, his willingness to allow violence to be perpetrated, in the name of America, was enough for me to call bullshit on his, Christianity.
yeah,
he
I
And
was
mean,
that's
in, he was an interesting. It was all interesting, and we'll just go back to you can't shoot people for what they think.
right,
no,
Um,
right.
sure. Like
like you can
yeah, I
think
mean,
they're an asshole all day long. I
yeah.
don't care.
I
I mean,
did
we
see
we
I
should
did
probably
see a
just put at the top of the episode, no, we didn't want Charlie Kirk shot. I'm
We
I'm
did
so
not
sick
want.
of freaking having to qualify that shit. Like, I'm allowed to criticize somebody that didn't live a wholesome life and got shot because of it. I'm allowed to be critical of them. Anyways,
well, I mean, in regards to that, I did see a pretty accurate quote in regards to him, I guess, not necessarily why he got shot, but it said something along the lines of how you die does not redeem how you lived.
I,
And I
I I saw
thought,
something more like, if you don't want people to celebrate your murder, then don't be an asshole.
yeah, but I mean, if that's the case, if we're going to shoot people for what they say, there's going to be a whole lot more bloodshed. Like it's,
That
yeah, I mean, you want to talk
that
about First
doesn't
Amendment
endorse.
rights and what you as a soldier fought for, and Kaepernick kneeling and all that shit. Like, we don't kill people because we differ politically
That
of
does
what they say.
that doesn't endorse murder. That just says that if you don't want people to be happy that you're gone, then don't be a douche. You know, like,
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. The same people, I know a ton of people who are happy. Not a ton, okay, that's an exaggeration. I know a few people who are happy that he's gone, but I personally know they've allowed far worse in their own personal lives and never walked away from it. So
right,
it's
right,
it's all political hypocriticism. It's
right.
the ability
Well,
to
and
take a
it's
stand on something. And at
and
the
it and
end
it's
of the
and it's
day, it hurt the left. That's
oh
what
yeah, for
happened.
sure. Oh yeah,
Bad.
Oh, it
yeah.
definitely started
To the
another Republican wave for
right,
sure.
which I think which is goes hand in hand to why you're not seeing a lot out of Gavin the past few weeks. I think
Yeah.
it's a good time to not
Yeah.
because the trend definitely moved against us because a fucking nut job did a nutso thing. So but yeah, definitely there. And then we're gonna bounce over to Trump doesn't like when people say things about him. Um,
At
and
all.
we have some reports that the military now doesn't like what people report, and now they have to clear it or something. I don't know enough about if how
Oh,
much
so
legitimacy is there.
so basically, what the Pentagon said was that in order to have press access, you need to clear the things that you're going to print with them. You need to sign a pledge, basically saying that you'll only, you know, print things that are America positive. So yeah, I mean, super
This is
dangerous.
stars and
Super
stripes.
dangerous. Huh? No,
No,
this is
so I'm assuming that A was always true, right? That you had to clear what you printed with the Pentagon first. I'm not saying that they.
no, no,
No,
because
I guarantee you had to turn it into them so they make sure you weren't printing something that could hurt somebody. But they would
only
allow you to print negative things. I'm not saying
yeah.
so. What this is, they're
Only
not
all
going to
right.
allow you to print
So
negative
like
things.
as somebody that's in country or like on the ground, then like they ask for a like a gap so you can't print things right away. So you can't be like out on the battlefield freaking tweeting and shit. Um but if it's not classified, then the press has full rights to print whatever they want. You know,
Okay, yeah. So
so
you did have to clear to some degree, right?
well,
So and
but
they
but you don't give out classified information. There is a chain of custody that is very important in the military, and if you break that, you go to prison.
not on
So,
signal, not
did you
on
see that
signal.
report?
Yes, I did. But so Trump tried to sue the Times again.
Yes.
Yeah.
15 billion. It was the Times and related parties, and a Florida federal judge threw it out for being excessively long and disorganized. He
Hmm.
basically threw it out because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
had no basis.
I wish he
He
wouldn't
he's
have.
he almost said that it was frivolous.
I wish he wouldn't have because for some people that don't understand how the legal system works, had he allowed that, then there would have to be discovery and deposition.
Right.
Yeah, but why waste our time, right? Or well, their time, not our time. It'd be entertainment for me, so it wouldn't waste my time at all. But it's just another thing where he has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
Not.
And it's overwhelmingly apparent on a regular basis. So that brings up the UN speech,
Oh,
Yeah.
where you were telling me that his teleprompter went out.
yeah. So
And some of the looks I have on the speech, I feel like that probably doesn't.
yeah, no. So I was actually watching it while I was at work, uh, and then I went to lunch and came back and saw that there was an article that the teleprompter went out on him and that he was stumbling like a baboon. And so then I read the summary, and it basically, in a nutshell, was none of you know what you're doing except for me. America is the greatest at everything, and all of you
Yeah.
suck. Um,
Yeah.
You guys should just be quiet and listen to what I say and give me a bunch of awards
Yeah. Mm.
with like the
He
five
said
bullet points.
other countries were going to hell.
Yeah, he did say that.
And he
I'm sure
climate
you heard
change
that
efforts.
during
Yeah,
the memorial. You know,
yeah, and
that's
then
the type of
climate
Christian
change.
nationalism that is going to really start becoming loud.
It's pretty loud. And then he rejected all climate change efforts as a con job. Um, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much his UN speech. Nothing productive. Really interesting for him to even go give it. I don't. Well, he did threaten new tariffs on Russia over Ukraine. He's completely changed the Ukraine thing.
Oh, he also
Ru-
said Ukraine can now win back land from Russia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now he's saying that Ukraine has a chance against Russia.
I don't
And
understand what happened. I really
Oh, you
don't.
don't? You don't
No.
understand what happened?
I don't know why he did a 900.
It's because of the amount of defense contracts that people have been canceling. Now he needs a reason to create more defense weapons. And so sending them over to Ukraine to further the war is beneficial to him.
That's
And
fair.
that
Okay.
makes
and
total sense.
and the amount and the amount of dialogue that's happened surrounding Ukraine has finally shifted public opinion. So we doubled our defense budget, so we have plenty of money to spend on defense contracts to build weapons to ship over there. And if we have a stockpile at the end of, a couple years, then people are going to be like, what are we spending our money on?
Right.
So that and he's, even though he did a huge cut, or he built in a cut for the military personnel so that he could weed out the people that he didn't want in, and then he activated a whole bunch of them. So that's where some of that money is going as well.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense, right? That makes a lot of sense as to why he did a 900, because he needed it. But he definitely did a 900, which is super, super, super interesting. Now it's rah rah, let's go Ukraine. The base hasn't picked up on that one yet. We'll see what happens there. They're going to, because hypocriticism is their middle name typically. Um, so I got to reiterate that he sat in a room and publicly declared smart people don't like him
He was
in
standing.
in a room full of his people who
Yeah.
then laughed. And I can't get over the
And
fact that
so did they.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They laughed. They were a room full of
Oh yeah.
his people who laughed when he said, "Smart people don't like me."
That's
Yeah,
because
because
So
they were
everyone's
all
at
sitting
no
there
point,
going,
doing
"Yeah,
your
I hate you, you
bullshit.
mother."
at no time did they understand that he was effectively calling them stupid
Yeah.
and effectively calling the base stupid. And it's like, so maybe I'm not so wrong to do the same thing. If he's, I mean, at least he's a realist because he's not wrong. Smart people traditionally don't like him.
That's why he's
And then
demonized education.
yeah, that hasn't nothing's really gone the way they expected. So with that, we're gonna pivot to you were talking about he wants to go after them. He did send a Truth Social. I'm pretty sure this actually happened. Um, Basically saying because there was a kind of an outcry in the middle of the Charlie where like we haven't persecuted anybody on the left, we haven't convicted anybody, we haven't arrested anybody, we haven't. So they want like the cat turds, super powerful dude, man, fucking cat turd. Um, Wants Bondi fired, and it's like, why is like the only person who I don't like her? I think she's
Yeah.
corrupt. But
Oh
she
yeah.
does actually seem to be like, if it's not illegal, I'm not going to do anything. You know, I mean, she tried a few lawsuits there, but it wasn't really her. It was more like the Alana, I forget her name. She pretty as hell, but bad lawyer. Seems to be surrounded by really shitty lawyers. But now he tweeted out that he does want Bondi to like go after the chefs.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll see what comes of this. This shall be interesting. And then he designated Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Now, this is one of the most interesting paradoxes ever.
So being anti-fascist is now a terroristic act.
Well, Antifa in itself is not it's a lot
Not an
more like,
organization.
yeah, it's a lot more like Occupy Wall Street than anything. It's a very
it's a
loose,
mindset. Yeah.
Well,
it's
it's
well,
not
yeah.
also it's not a recent organization either. It was created back in World War II.
Well, that was an actual Antifa, and it was actually originally created in Germany
Yeah.
during World War II to fight the fascists, oddly enough. But I think one of the big things there is like
Kind of in the name there, guy.
it's it's just a loose leaf of college kids, typically. It's what it appears. Like, who's the terror? Like, where? Like, how do you get them? Like, this is more Ghost in the fucking Machine than Bin Laden was. Like, and it's like, what? Where's their office? Like, who are the members? Where are the roster? Like, I don't even think they know each other's name. Like, if Antifa from Portland ran into Antifa from New York City, they wouldn't even know each other. They wouldn't even know they're both Antifa. They would know to themselves they were Antifa, but it's a state of mind, right? It's a
Yeah.
word for a position. But now they're like, follow the money, and if they're funding them, then we can arrest them. And like, I think that's the reason. Like,
I can
so
no, oh no, this is all about having an enemy to focus on. You know, they can't say we're going to go hunt the Democrats. They can't say we're going to go and hunt this political ideology. What they can say is there's this terrorist group that's operating within the Democratic Party that we're hunting. And I mean, all right, so think of it kind of like you know, when we were kids. You know, there were there were there were groups of people that were considered one gang that were kids that saw it on a video and freaking started throwing up sign, you know? And
yes,
so
facts.
so it's the same thing. The war on drugs was aimed at poor black kids, and just like that, they're aiming this at us. You know, people that are speaking against, you know, the erosion of the Constitution.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And I say that to pivot here. So he met with Lula, I think that's president in the UK or in the UN meetings, the Brazilian president who just
Oh, is that who that is?
imprisoned. Yeah, so President Lula, I think it's Lula.
Lula.
It's
Yeah.
it's Portuguese, so it's a little different for me. But they just imprisoned Bolsonaro, who is basically the Brazilian Trump.
Yep.
And he's like, we have excellent chemistry. And so he's going to fly to Brazil, like I do believe next week,
Bet you
to
that doesn't happen.
to meet with him, like to go to Brazil and meet with him because they had great chemistry. And I'm almost in the ballpark. Like, are you going to go find out how to not let it happen to you? Like, is that what your angle really is here? Like, how do I not
uh,
let the domestic terrorist Antifa figure out how to get power and then Bonasaro me, right? And put me in prison
hmm
for being this and that and the other. Just a wild, wild, wild reality. And then Congress is doing nothing. The Senate's doing nothing. It's like all a sideshow. Like
hmm
it's the bearded lady or the, you know what I'm saying? The what other crazy shit was there? The freak show section of the carnival, right? Like,
I just watched The Greatest Showman with Adara the other day.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
So it's just wild to me that like it's all pomp and circumstance. It's all illusion. Like there's no everybody is doing nothing. And they're just talking and shit just keeps getting worse. But yet better, but yet worse. And
Mm-hmm.
like I think Powell's speech really hit that home. Like, yeah, we're gonna cut the rate because like we don't even know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck we're supposed to do because none of
Yeah,
these numbers make sense.
right. None of it makes sense because nothing is because it's just like a wave of fuckery. And
Yeah.
nobody knows what like Powell's speech was literally, we're gonna do it because why the fuck not? Because who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And but jobs. And now we're losing jobs rapidly. And so maybe if I cut the rate, the jobs, I don't know.
But
We're
inflation's
gonna do it.
still raising higher than they want. I mean, they're like basically I think what he decided was I got to do something to get them off my back, and we need to do something so that we can see what putting a weight on the scale does, because right now the scale's all fucked up.
Yeah.
It was always
wild.
the cut was always going to happen in September, and there's going to be 2 more this year. They predicted that last year, so that part of it doesn't surprise me. But something, Ryan, that you brought up about that it's all pomp and circumstance, and they say one thing and do the other, and they're not doing anything all at the same time, is the vote to release additional documentation from the Epstein estate.
Yep.
51-49. Every single Republican that voted on it voted no. That includes the people that were standing up there with the victims. 51-49.
There was no. That was a Senate vote. There was no senators with the victims. That was like Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're all Congress people.
I thought there were senators up there.
I'm pretty sure they were all representatives. I don't think there was.
Well, either way, 51-49, it got shut down. Every single Republican that voted on it no. So they don't give a shit about kids. And at this point, with that being done, you can pretty much consider that angle to try to expose whoever done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Patel's not going to do anything about it, clearly, in his testimony this week. And he's crumbling, bro. Crumbling.
It's all crumbling. It's all crumbling, but like so slow.
Yeah.
It's like at a snail's pace. I don't know. I don't know. It's to watch the Fed be like, we don't know what the fuck is going on because none of this makes sense. Yeah. And these are the
maybe we should probably start putting someone in charge of. Oh, you said the Fed. My mind was still on FBI. Maybe we should put someone in charge of the FBI who's actually been in the FBI.
I mean, not a podcaster,
right?
So like my biggest concern about that is that they expect that doing this is going to cause inflation to rise, and it's already well above the 2%
rising
cap
well over a quarter.
Yeah. So like, you know, when housing and food are people's biggest worry right now, and you just made a move to make it easier for corporations to borrow money, because that's going to help people with their housing and food. You know, I just
speaking of inflation and what, you know, some of the things that cause that and what people are worried about is what just got handed down today or yesterday about the reciprocal tariffs from the judge, basically deeming it illegal. And now that has to be paid back. And guess who's going to pay that back?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, no, 100%. Interesting stuff, right? Interesting stuff. He seemed to have tamed himself down a lot. I'm gonna be honest. He
Who?
comes out and fucking orange Dorito man, dude. So because he only comes out in spurts, it's not every day, all day anymore. It's like he'll get 4 or 5 things in a day, but then he'll be quiet for a couple of days.
Well,
And then he'll get 4 or 5 things. So instead of 3 things every day, it's like he's saving up. And then he's cashing on all the chips on like Saturday.
Well,
And
his
his
cognitive
boredom,
decline, he probably forgot what he was doing.
that's possible. It's very
well,
possible.
I do think that he's getting tired. I think we're all getting tired.
Well, fuck, we're half
But
his age and we're tired. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he definitely did his job well. But I think there's a lot going on in the background, and that's part of the problem is that, they're a duck in water right now where they are, they're making moves. They're knocking out senior military personnel, they're knocking out political rivals, they're knocking out, the people that know what the fuck they're talking about,
yeah,
career scientists in the
it's almost like a
CDC.
TV show when you have a season that's very plotty and not a whole lot happens, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Right. Yeah. Then all the pieces come flying at you all
Yeah,
at once. And that's what, that's, we're seeing some of it,
it definitely
we're
seems like there's a lot of positioning going on. That's for sure.
yeah. And that's what's scary is we have active duty troops on US soil right now that are, detaining Americans.
Picking up
And
trash in DC.
well, they're not just picking up trash. I just saw an article and Maryland and an illegal immigrant just committed murder. Like these are the things that they're going to use to justify
Absolutely.
widening this. And the whole Charlie Kirk thing to me was, them saying, "Oh, here we go. We've got the reason
That
to
was the
start
gasoline
hunting
on the fire that
Democrats."
ignited the reason why.
Yeah, so
That could be
so
very, very true. It could be that definitely could be true. Um, yeah, he tried Chicago and it didn't work out very well for him.
Yeah, but he mentioned going
Um,
back in there too because he's gonna try. He's
yeah,
gonna try
we'll see
Memphis.
what. Go ahead, go to Memphis, dude. It's a Republican state. You're not gonna prove anything that way. You know what I'm saying? Memphis is also a fucking war zone. So,
well,
On the
what
one
what
side
he's
of the bridge,
what
on the
he's
other, it's
looking
fine.
for what he's looking for is the catalyst.
Yes.
yeah,
He needs that spark to that will set everything aflame because then he can walk in with a hammer, you know?
Yep.
I
So
agree.
so
So
that's
don't
what
give
he's
it
been
to them.
looking for. That's why he put handgun or that's why he put weapons on those guard soldiers in DC. He wanted something to pop off. So
Yeah,
that's where like they're that's where this is, they're doing all of this, underneath the media coverage, and and then they're presenting, Tylenol up here, and then
Acetaminophen.
yeah, that thing. buy,
acetaminophen. So
buy
for
Tylenol. I bought stock.
1955,
uh
1955 was when that came out. Autism was first written about in 43. We'll leave that there.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, another exciting week. We will be back next week for another episode, where everyone's going to show up on time. Not. So it never happens. It never
We don't
happens.
like Wednesdays.
Well, today isn't Wednesday, is it? No, it's
No,
not. I
just
don't know
one
what
here.
day it is. I don't know what's going on. So, all right. Until next week, it's Bluebird whispering on your shoulder, and we shall return.
Thanks, guys.